Two of my favorite animated movies when I was a kid were Doraemon and Inside Out. What if elements from both of these movies were combined in Inside Out 2? Sounds cool, right? Welcome back, dreamers. This is Theory Hub, where we talk about things that definitely won't happen, but at least they're interesting. I'm Lander, and today we're diving into the topic. Does anxiety really come from the future? First, let's look at the design of Riley's emotions. We start with the character design, because it's a very important foundation. Riley's emotions each have a unique appearance. None look the same. They don't have any common traits to identify them as emotions of a specific person. Looking at the control center of Riley's mom, you'll see all the emotions wear red glasses.
Just in case.
In her dad's control center, all the emotions have mustaches.
Told you it was a great idea.
Or the curly-haired boy who bumped into Riley at the end of the first movie. All his emotions have curly hair and dress like him. Even the bus driver has 5 different colored anger emotions, which is quite confusing.
Need to go to our happy place. Triple them gun.
We'll make you smile.
From this, we can conclude that all emotions will change their appearance to resemble the person they control, in the case that their psyche has fully developed. Full development here means finding one's personal identity. So even though the curly-haired boy and Riley's peers have distinct emotions, while Riley's don't, it's because they found their personal identity first, while Riley is still searching for herself. But what does this have to do with what we're about to discuss? Riley's emotions haven't changed, which means they still can change. The important question is, what will these light change into? It's quite confusing, isn't it? Joy and her friends won't just change their hair color to blonde to match Riley. Their appearance will change based on Riley's most prominent traits. These traits haven't appeared yet, but they will later, as I believe Riley will take quite a while to find out who she is. After all, there are many hints that Riley might be part of the LGBT community, right? For someone LGBT, finding and accepting themselves is quite challenging and takes a lot of time to adapt. But let's focus on the transformation part. Joy can transform into anything, as long as it clearly represents Riley's essence later on. So, could joy possibly transform into anxiety? Sounds crazy, right? Joy turning into anxiety? Hold on and listen to my explanation. I have boldly proposed a big theory that might completely change how we approach the film. So, it might sound odd. Focus, it's been over 10 years since we last watched Inside Out 1, right? But Inside Out 2 is set just 1 year after Inside Out 1. Doesn't that sound a bit illogical? I'm not saying the timeline in animation must follow real-life time, but Inside Out is a children's film. The kids who watched it 10 years ago were still young. And 10 years later, those kids have grown up and have different thoughts. So I believe we have grounds to think that the actual setting of Inside Out 2 is 10 years later, not just 1 year later. So why haven't the characters changed, and why is Riley only 13 years old? Because Disney aims to expand Riley's mind further. All the human characters we see in the trailer are just Riley's memories. Yes, I'm saying that the entire setting outside Riley's mind, where real humans interact, is just memories. The old emotions too. Joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust are simply characters of the past. Expanding Riley's mental world has created endless possibilities for the director to explore in this film. Look at the new departments and lands introduced in the trailer. Clearly, in Inside Out 1, we only saw a small part. So what's the specific theory here? I'll assume that the current Riley is 22 years old or older. She's troubled by life and family issues.
That's a preview of the next 10 years.
Especially, Riley faces many mental health problems simultaneously, which greatly affects her appearance. These issues might stem from various causes, but mainly I think it comes from her family. If you've watched the video, Riley's family isn't as happy as you think by the Theory Hub, you'd understand that Riley's family background isn't as rosy as portrayed in the film. Her mom is a sad woman, a victim of domestic violence.
Something's wrong.
Should we ask her?
Let's probe, but keep it subtle so she doesn't notice.
While her dad is an abusive man who, although he loves his wife, can't control his anger.
Now.
Her main emotion, joy, has transformed to resemble her the most, changing from a tall, bright figure to a short, orange, somewhat unattractive form. Joy has diminished significantly, replaced by anxiety about life and the future. The other emotions may have somehow ceased functioning or been erased due to Riley's mental health issues. Things will shift when Riley decides to heal herself through beautiful memories. This will be accomplished by anxiety or joy from the future, delving into Riley's past memories to find the original emotions. Future joy decides not to let the emotions in the memory space or the past emotions know who she
Sorry,
is.
I can get ahead of myself. I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here.
She presents herself as anxiety and creates new emotions inspired by her old friends. Envy is created from anger because, as you know, envy leads to anger.
Let me at him.
Embarrassed is created from fear because shame, after all, is the fear of society. And ennui is created from sadness, as boredom leads to melancholy, right? Moreover, ennui always appears lazy and lies on the couch, similar to sadness in Inside Out 1, where she lay around and joy had to drag her. And why do I think anxiety is future
I'm
joy?
Anxiety. Where can I put my
From her
stuff?
first appearance in the trailer, we see anxiety is quite cheerful.
Here I am, meeting you face to face. Okay, how can I help?
Instead of being overwhelmed by excessive worry, anxiety still shows a happy and excited demeanor.
Walk your dog, carry your things, watch you sleep.
Wow, you have a lot of energy.
So even as anxiety, future joy retains some of her original personality. Additionally, she maintains her leadership role, whether she is joy or anxiety.
Fear protects her from the scary stuff she can see, and my job is to protect her from the scary stuff she can't see. I plan for the future.
Not yet?
I'm the worst.
If you notice in other people's control centers, there are always only 5 emotions. But Riley has more, which further confirms that the new emotions are created by anxiety or future joy. Future joy's goal is to bring the original emotions: sadness,
Sadness is in the house.
anger,
Let me at him.
fear,
Get our mouth guard, people.
disgust,
Glad to have her on our team.
out of the memory world and back to the current control center. In return, anxiety will single-handedly replace the other emotions and control Riley's memories. So, anxiety will play the role of an anti-hero, making herself a villain to push past joy out.
We are suppressed emotions.
This is quite feasible as the initial draft of Inside Out's script considered using time travel elements. The filmmakers suggested an idea where Joy enters the memory orb of Riley as a child. And then Riley and Joy officially meet and truly talk to each other for the first time. This is a wonderful idea to clearly express the deep affection emotions have for Riley. And in this sequel, this element might be reconsidered and reintroduced in a different way. And the specific way is what I explained above. To summarize, future joy transforms into anxiety due to Riley's mental issues. Riley decides to heal, and anxiety, the only remaining emotion in Riley's control center, has the task of going back in time by accessing Riley's memory orbs and intervening. She has to pull the original joy and other emotions out of Riley's future control center. To do this, anxiety has to replace these emotions and control Riley's past. Thus, she creates versions of her friends to help her take control of past Riley and push the other emotions out. The new settings we see in the trailer are not just Riley's mind, but the entirety of Riley's memory flows within the orbs. Does anxiety really come from the future? I know what you're thinking. This time it's really crazy, but it's also really interesting, right? If it actually comes true, the movie promises to be very touching.
And things couldn't be better.
If you like our theory, comment one. If you disagree, don't hesitate to share your views so we can discuss them together. Don't forget to suggest upcoming topics you want to see from the Theory Hub so we can better satisfy you. This is Lander wishing you all a great day.